is Daryl King, shared of the Mindsets at the Daryl King team office right here on Yonge Street. And I want to really welcome a very, very special friend, very special guest, and I think this is someone we never had on to our show in the last few years, ever. So she's had me on to her Buzz outfit, but it's Virginia Munden. Let's give her a big hand. Is that the biggest hand you can give? Come on. Right? She doesn't like the spotlight like that, unfortunately. No, her husband Wayne does, but, you know.
True.
Anyway, with an illustrious career spanning 3 decades in Canadian real estate, Virginia Munden continues to drive change. Driven by a clear purpose and hard work ethics instilled by her parents, immigrants to Canada from Italy, Virginia embarked on her journey as a licensed realtor alongside her husband Wayne, the good-looking guy there, dressed in black normally. Together, they quickly achieved recognition among the top 5 in their office, top 100, and one of Canada's most influential brands. Expertise took her to numerous cities worldwide, including Italy, Germany, Argentina, Malta, Portugal, Turkey, Vienna, London, Spain, New York, San Francisco, just to name a few. No longer a coach, Virginia has a passion for industry. So imagine World Cup. She went to all the World Cup spots, right? Now they're here. She already seen them. So
except for Italy.
Well, they're not here either.
I know.
Right? But you went there, so you've been there many times. So today is the co-founder of Buzz Media, Inc., alongside her daughter, Isabella Munden. She's a little princess, a rising star in the industry by Stories Publishing. Their company has built Canada's premier media and marketing agency. Buzz has swiftly emerged as a leading company serving entrepreneurs, business professionals, influential leaders, thinkers, and innovators. So I'll tell you, I remember when they started out many, many years ago down in the Don Valley Parkway there, you and Mr.
Yeah, well, no, Richard Silver started at the Brickworks.
At the Brickworks.
And we started at the Mississauga Living Arts Center.
Yes, right? So let's give her a big hand and welcome her, right? They had to drive a long way. They came all the way from Oakville, right? So I want to really thank you. And you know, this is very special because she just got back from Calgary. They just did the Buzz in Calgary last week, right?
Wonderful.
How did that go?
It was amazing. We had some incredible people.
You got all the Cowboys out there.
We did have the Cowboys, but we also had all the great leaders. As you know, Don Kotick and Remax Canada were our presenting sponsors. Don Kotick is the president and spoke on the panel along with his fellow CEOs and presidents of Coldwell Banker,
Phil was out there.
Phil Soper from Royal LePage Canada, and also EXP. So it was great to have the leadership on that panel. As we all know, everything rises and falls on leadership, and I have to congratulate Daryl on being one of those leaders in the industry, and you're all very fortunate to be under his leadership and under his guidance. That was an amazing morning that you gave, and you know, you're all about inspiration and motivation, and I love how you included a lot of those quotes and you know, little videos from YouTube with Ronaldo and Denzel Washington. Top notch. Way to go, Daryl.
Ronaldo was the first guy to score a goal in all 6 World Cups. The only guy. Right?
Yes, okay.
So, because...
But is he in the lead right now? Is he in the lead, or isn't Messi in the lead right
now? Well,
now?
Messi's got more goals, but he's got 6 World Cups, so Messi can't do that this one. He's got to go to...
Kind of similar to your agents in here, right? There's always going to be that first, right?
Right. Hey, the first is always the best. It's having your first child, having your first sale, having your first of anything, right?
Yeah.
You know, you think of when you went into real estate, and you know, like, who knew when I went into real estate, I was only in my young 20s, that I was going to be one of the top leaders in all North America, right? Like, I knew I was going to be successful, but to the level I became, no. So, you know, that's why I tell everybody, you never know unless you put 100%, not 100%, 100% is not enough. You got to give it 110%. Really, to win, put 110% in. You think Steve Jobs and Bill Gates can only give 100%? They had a life and a passion. They ate and breathed what they did. And they networked and collaborated with other great, amazing people. And that's what the Buzz brings together.
Yeah.
The greatest thing what I love about the Buzz is, you know, she just talked about having all the top CEOs of all the brands. They were there, and even when they come to Toronto, you even get more. So you never know who you're going to meet. I was on the airplane with that guy. Like I won't mention his name, but he's like a knight, right? Like unbelievable. So you just never know. So by bringing all these people, she brings all the top leaders. She brings all the top real estate agents, all the top technology people. There's just everybody and anybody that is in the collaboration. Everybody, they don't hide behind the blanket. They share what they know.
Exactly.
Right? And
you've got a great office here. You've got 50 plus agents. There's a reason why you succeed. You're in the top 1% of all teams, top 1%, if not top 10 on the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. That's a very huge accomplishment. And I think by having leaders like yourselves represent the brand, you know, how is it that it's consistent? Because you are consistent. You're consistent with your meetings, you're consistent with your training, your recruiting, your retention. You're also very consistent on making yourself present in environments that will help you and your agents become successful, whether it's at a buzz conference or at the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, Realtor Quest. How many of you attended the Realtor Quest event this past? It was a great event, you know. Putting yourself in environments like that where you learn and network and meet new people and maybe just hear something different that you haven't heard in the last little while can jumpstart some new opportunities in your career. But you know, we saw you in Halifax. We're going to see you again in Victoria. Hopefully we'll see you in Florence, in Firenze for the REMAX conference. There's so many opportunities that you can achieve by putting yourself in different environments. And I think that's one thing that people are struggling with right now in this changing market is, you know, what do I do? Where do I go? What can I do next to help me gain a new opportunity? Remember, clients are not opportunities. It's the environments you put yourself in. Those will lead to opportunities. So if you're kind of stuck right now, take a look at what Daryl's doing. Come and join us at a buzz conference or any other events that are taking place in your city, networking events, and try and find new people, new networks that will help you achieve new opportunities. Because if you're not getting them now in your current circumstances, you have to go out there and make yourself present in public environments. Does that make sense?
always be wherever you can be, right? Like it's like the ever ready bunny. You got to just go and go and go, right? And I don't feel like it, but you know what? I made that commitment. I'm going to do it. Wayne and I were just talking about. So the guy, what's his name? The Arthur, the MC.
Oh, right.
Andrew.
Andrew Fung, is it Fung?
Andrew,
Oh, yeah, Andrew Fung, he's
so
amazing.
Andrew is going to MC out in Victoria. So Andrew is the one that auctioned, well, he tried to auction off the other painting to me. So Don Cottick came in, president of Remax, and hung the painting up with us. So I can hardly wait till we go to Victoria. We're going to start right from the very second that we walk in together,
Sure.
right? It'll be just hell on broom and a fire. So, you know, you always have to look for the opportunity that there's 1,100 people. And when him and I get together, it'll be just like a magic wand, just going, okay, get the crowd going, and it'll be much more livelier than Halifax. And I loved Halifax.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, you did.
But Halifax was amazing.
Cost you a lot of money, but
Yeah, but it was good, right?
you got a beautiful painting. You got a beautiful piece of artwork.
That's for a good thing. Children's Miracle Network. How can you go
Absolutely.
wrong?
Congratulations.
Right? So Virginia, you built a remarkable career in real estate and now co-founded Buzz. Looking back, how important has community been shaping your journey and opened doors along the way? Her and Wayne were always very special. Like, they had a purple cow, right? And I almost got the purple cow, but at that time I didn't have a truck to go get it.
I know.
Otherwise it would have been sitting in this office, right?
It would have been perfect.
Yes.
It was an actual life-size purple cow. And I wanted to give it to Daryl because my husband told me I need to get my cars in the garage one day. We need to get rid of that cow because it was sitting in there. And knowing Daryl's favorite color is purple, it's part of his brand presence. Very easy to recognize Daryl because of that brand color, but we couldn't put that together. But you know, we talk about community. And if anybody hasn't read the book Purple Cow by Seth Godin, it's an amazing book if you're looking at expanding your sphere, expanding your name, your real estate business, but also the community that you live in and serve. It just shares different tips, we'll say, on how to become highly recognized in your community. You know, people always say, oh, you know, branding is about a logo or a tagline. It's not. Branding is actually what people say about you in a room when you're not there. So it's how you're presenting yourself, how you're projecting yourself, not only through your colors and your representation, but also through your voice and what you stand for in your community. So if you are a part of community in different ways, other than just selling real estate, because nobody really cares if you sell real estate. They want to know, you know, how are you going to make them feel in a conversation? As Daryl mentioned earlier, you know, 2 eyes, 1 mouth. Two ears. Yeah, 2 ears. Well, you're looking face to face. Right now, everybody's looking at their phones. No, you can be having a conversation with somebody and nobody's looking at you in the eye. Are you extending that handshake? You know, repeating the person's name. Do you remember everyone that you meet? Are you following up later with personal notes or a phone call or an email, acknowledging that meeting or that moment with the, you know, that person? Those are the things that mean a lot to people, and that's probably the foundational principle on building your community. Building your community isn't about what your Instagram looks like online, or what your Facebook page looks like, or who you like and who you follow, and you know what you say when you're engaging with people online. It's literally how you are behaving and acknowledging others in the communities that you live in and in the communities that you serve. But it's not just about being a realtor. Are you involved in, you know, community philanthropic initiatives? Are you door knocking? I know I commented Daryl on his running shoes today, and he said, these are my door knocking shoes. Door knocking was a really big part of our business, my husband and I, when we did start out in real estate. Every Monday, we made it a goal for 1 year to kind of penetrate into a group of 400 townhomes. And in that moment, we knew we had something special, because every Monday, we weren't dressed up, we were just dressed normally. We would, you know, bring our flyers, bring some really great, you know, little gifts that we picked up at the local stores, supported local businesses, and we would make sure that we hit every home and every family that lived in that neighborhood, to the point when, if I wasn't there when he was doing it one day, or if I was there and he was not with me, people would ask, where's your wife? Where's your husband? Right? We're not ready to move now, but we did get your flyer. I'm looking at possible home evaluation. People would start acknowledging us by first name. Those are the things that I believe make people feel special, is when you can actually develop that brand presence in a community. And it doesn't have to be a really big one. This townhome complex only had 400 homes, and I think we were selling, what, 50 every year between listing properties and selling them their new homes. So you don't have to. I remember when I first started, I wanted to be a luxury agent. That didn't happen. I wasn't knowledgeable in that market, so I looked at, who are my people? What community do I want to serve? And as a first-time home buyer myself, with my husband and having a young family, we decided that we wanted to work with young families also. So it's also understanding and knowing who your target audience is, who your target market is, before you invest any time and any money in any conversations with people. That's how we started the foundation of building our real estate community, but it also extended. Across the street was the local church, St. Dominic's. You know, my parents lived in you know, just on the other side of the QEW. We tried to support and do everything that we could as a family within that community, so that people recognized us, whether we were grocery shopping or at the park, or supporting an event that took place in the community. That's brand. That's branding. And Carol will know a lot about that as well. Your brand is Woman on the Move. People know you and your vibrancy, and I always say it's your red hair. It's how you present yourself. You're happy. You're always making time for people. And I love looking at the relationship that you and Teresa Whitmore have on both online and offline. That's part of building your community. It's part of building your network. And that's when you'll start to see referral business even come through with your colleagues from across Ontario and across Canada. Because you guys involve yourselves and you attend real estate conferences, not only within Toronto or the GTA, but also across the greater Toronto and provincial markets as well.
Listen, every step is a step in the right journey. Right? It's about having a voice, having an ear, having a vision, right? So pretty much anywhere I go, if any of you guys have been out door knocking with me, everywhere we go, they go, oh.
I miss door knocking.
Right? So, Freba, where's Freba?
I'm here.
So Freba, remember, stand up for 1 minute. Remember that lady, we went up to that door? And she said, because I was on the phone, I was a little behind, and she got up there, and she sort of brushed her aside, and then I came up, and what'd she say?
First she said, "Oh, I'm busy, sorry, I'm doing something, I cannot talk." And she was almost going to close the door, and then after when he showed up, then she started talking and recognizing him. And then
The recognizable brand.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, have I ever spoke to that lady? Probably, but probably 20 years ago, right? If you leave an impact, always remember, I've always told you guys this before. Think of a beautiful beach, nice fresh just after the tide, it's nice and smooth. Go put your footprint on there and see what leaves there. If you can leave everybody with that footprint, you'll go forever. Your career will go. I've had people 5-6 years, they say, when we go to sell, we're going to call you. 5 years later, Mr. King, we're ready to go now. And they've been bombarded by other people. So leave that impact. Always wear a smile. Always be humble. Humble, humble, humble. Eat
Right.
humble pie, right?
There's a saying, people really don't care what you say. It's how you make them feel. And if people feel that they're going to be cared for with trust and education and information, let's face it, selling a home is probably one of the largest, most stressful transactions a family will ever participate in. And they want to know two things: is how are you going to take care of my family and I, and are you going to achieve the highest price possible? Because that's really what people
Two things
want.
they're after.
Yeah, they want you to care.
It hasn't
for them.
changed.
They want you to care for them, but they also want to maximize their investment. Protecting quality of life is one of the most important gifts that, as a realtor, we can give to our clients. Now, my license is parked. I no longer trade, but having people like yourself and my husband and even people in this room as mentors and collaborators, I still hear the same ongoing conversations all the time. That word trust is probably the biggest part of having a recognizable brand. So how are you building trust in your neighborhoods? Are you educated? How many of you read and study your MLS every single morning? That's probably, everybody thinks, oh, technology, AI, digital this, social media. The most important technologies in our industry, whether you think it is or not, I know it is, being in the industry for 35 years, is your MLS, realtor.ca. Those are the only two most important platforms that you should be studying on a daily basis. Not how to make yourself look prettier online with these apps, or how to create descriptions on ChatGPT. Knowing your data and your stats from your local real estate board within your communities that you serve. What is this community? Is this what, C5 or C?
This is Richmond Hill.
Richmond
So
Hill.
this would be NO1, back in the old day.
Okay, so
This is Richville.
Richville.
And they call it Richville because you got all the rich houses here.
Okay, well, yeah, it's kind of like Southeast Oakville,
Yes,
but
exactly.
when you leave your home
Two
in the
most
morning,
expensive places.
Yeah.
Oakville and
What-
Richville.
When you leave your home in the morning, knowing that you're equipped with information to share with people is your greatest gift. Because you're always going to bump into someone And what's the first question they're going to ask you? How's the real estate market? Well, interesting you ask. I was just online. Did you know that a house just sold around the corner from you or in your neighborhood? Or do you know the value of your home just went up? Or would you like a complimentary appraisal to see if your value's gone down? Like, having that data in your pocket is gold. That's all people want to know when it comes to answering that question. So how are you able to articulate the value of your data and stats? Not a lot of people are communicating that way because they're too busy trying to look socially acceptable on social media, right? That's my opinion.
Well, I listen. I used to get up. Well, before I went to bed, I just looked at all the stats: what sold, what didn't sell,
Sure, even
what
at the end
price
of the
range
day.
is going, and all day. That's all I would do: study. And then there were lots of open houses. I used to run around to all the open houses, so I meet all the agents. I would know what the inventory is out there. Guys, knowing what your inventory is crucial, because then you know what's selling and what's not selling. Remember, today as we're having a conversation, there's been sales that's happened. There's been buyers, there's been sellers, and there's been investors. So where are they happening? We need to go position ourselves in those places. That's the key. So where do I position myself, right? So her and Wayne did 400 townhouses. They were doing roughly around 50 a year. So look they were taking 20% of the market share out of all the other agents. They owned the neighborhood. But it wasn't the most expensive houses, but it had the most amount of sales. Because if someone did 50 sales, that's why they were in the top 5 in their office, in the top 100.
And you know what? Those houses at the time were only $200,000. And if you think about it, times 2.5, if that was the average commission.
Probably 6%
for a sale.
then.
Well, back then
6%.
it was 6%, but if it was 5%, but we were happy with $5,000 commission on those properties. Now those townhouses are $1 million. That's a $25,000. That would be like selling 5 houses 30 years ago, right?
So when people ask, guys, where's the market going to go? It's real clear. What goes down is going to come back up. Real estate repeats itself by history. And once upon a time, we worked on a 7-year, 3 to 8%. So it would go 3 to 8% up, 3% or 8% down. Then we had the great COVID and went up 20 and 30%. 2 years of unrealistic numbers. So what the market is doing is they're doing a recorrection of where it should have never been. So those 2 years should be wiped out of the history books. And then we go back to 21, 22. The market is right on pace.
Well, it was there before the late 80s, early 90s.
We had the same thing.
Yeah. Prior to that, there was a boom.
Of course.
And then the market shifted again. So we're back in that market right now. But I do know, and I'm sure many of you in this room know also, is that there are huge opportunities out there right now. You know, everybody was complaining in 2021, 2022 with multiple offers. You know, I know my husband would come home stressed out because he was in multiple offers, sometimes with 40, 50 agents. And he just couldn't figure out how we got to that place. But
that was unheard of. It should have never happened.
Well, people were advising clients to overpay for property, sometimes 400, 500,000. And in my opinion, a lot of those properties right now, they're forever homes if they can still afford them, right? Because now with the interest rate hikes, the interest rates are pretty stable right now, but monthly fees have gone up. But I was saying that to make a point, and now I lost my point.
So prices, so they go up, they go down.
Yes.
And no matter what, listen, you're either going to pay rent to somebody else and pay their mortgage, or you're going to go stretch yourself on a limb and pay yourself a mortgage.
Right. No, I know the point I was making is the opportunities, right? That's the word that we have to think about now.
Remember we started the meeting, opportunities.
So the opportunities in the past few years have been on sellers. Kid you not, we are in a time where buyers need to capitalize on this market. And I know this for a fact because my 90-year-old father just bought 2 investment properties. My husband helped them. Meaning, and this is a man with limited English. He speaks Italian still, but he understands the value of an opportunity. This is old school, traditional Italian, right? But he understands opportunities. And when he sees an opportunity, he will jump on it, but with proper education. So if there's somebody like my husband who is going to give the facts based on data and stats, if those condos were selling for $650, $750 in the height of the market, and there's an opportunity to get it for $450 now, you're gonna advise your clients to jump on it. Because you are advising your buyers in the past, or your sellers in the past, we'll change that, your sellers in the past, to accept dollars when they were in multiple offer situations. So sellers were winning. This is a time right now where buyers should be taking advantage of this market and becoming homeowners. There's a lot of potential buyers that are still sitting on the fence, but I really believe that they're not being educated enough, because if they were, you would be executing on those offers. You really would. Would you agree with me on that? And would you think there's opportunities out there right now? Yes. And would you agree that you can negotiate price, terms, conditions right now?
And closings.
And closing dates. Would you think if a property is listed at 500, there's an opportunity to get it for 85 to 92% of list price right now? See, the problem is, in the years past, properties were selling so quickly for over asking price that even newer agents did not know how to negotiate terms, price, closing date, and conditions. But now the market has shifted, and this is when training and development, how to communicate these new price strategies, these new conditional strategies, this is the time. Maybe that's a good topic for your next, is how do you advise someone where there's an opportunity, and how do you answer those objections to achieve the most favorable selling price for your buyers?
Well, the good thing is there's always an opportunity for somebody.
Yes.
What's not good for somebody is great for somebody else. And it's been that way forever, in any business, not just real estate, in any business.
As you all know, like Wayne loves surfing MLS. Sometimes I can't get him to watch a movie with me because he just loves being on MLS. But that's where he studies the market, right? He'll share with me that certain properties are still being listed under market value to achieve those multiple offers, right? But in reality, they're not really selling
for over asking price.
They're selling for market value. So understand market value in your neighborhoods. That's key. Even if something sells for over asking price, it still could be selling for under market value. There was a property in Oakville that my husband brought to my attention, and in a really hot market was selling for $1,750. Well, that just sold for $1,300 on a really hot street in Southwest Oakville, and I couldn't believe the price. I was actually upset because I thought maybe I could have bought it, right, Wayne? But you got to me too late. And was that in multiple offers, do you think? No,
it wasn't in multiple offers.
Yeah, it wasn't in multiple offers, so you just don't know. We can't hold back if we believe that there's an opportunity for a client. We can't hold that information back. We can't hold back our negotiating power, our negotiating skills. If you're helping a buyer and the property is $899 and the research will share on MLS in the solds or in the list, in the expireds, or even in the price reductions, that the last sale was $799. Well, if that sale price of $799 took place last month, prices have come down still a little bit. So maybe you go in at $765 and settle somewhere at $785. Like, you have to understand and learn how to negotiate. That is the most important piece of the puzzle right now.
I was just doing that with one of my agents.
Yeah.
We were in an offer situation, and there were certain things that were a no that we should have never done.
Right.
And they didn't realize. And right now, that agent was just calling me back. So we'll have to call him after this thing here. But what happens is, once you make a mistake and someone gets turned off, you lose them. Because the motivation and the So you have to do things as quickly as possible, because a buyer's really taking a long time to come to the table. They want to shop the agent until they drop. So they want to go look at 10, 20, 30, 40 houses sometimes. And unless you can educate them, because someone else just had that situation, one of their good friends, they sold their house.
Okay.
And now they want to buy, but they wanted such a deal, they were trying to lowball everything, and they were lowballing below market value.
Yes.
So now they end up getting a beautiful house that they're ecstatic about. So they went through some failures, and you're going to go through some failures. You need to qualify. What is their price range? What's the mortgage agent got them qualified to go to? And because sometimes they're going to look at 1.5, but their budget's 1.1.
Sure.
And they want to get that house for 1.1, and then they get mad at you because you can't get it for 1.1.
Right.
Well, if we look at the market's telling you that 1.5 house is about 1.4 maybe. Maybe they're 100,000 over. But the selling price all day long is 1.4 in that house. Could even be 1.45.
Right.
So you need to know what the market really is for that pocket, for that style of house, because that's your duty.
Right.
And the better you are with that duty, you better you are for negotiating.
Right.
So what I have these guys do lots of times, they're having issues, call me.
Yeah.
And I'll do the negotiating
Absolutely.
for them.
And I think, you know, if we approach the market that sellers need to sell, I think that will, you know, help you maybe rethink of how you approach the offer. Because right now there's people who need to sell, but you will never know that. You will never know their bottom line or what they're willing to accept. Your role is to get the property for the least amount of money with favorable closing dates and conditions, etc. That's your goal for your buyer. If you have sellers, then your goal is to still try to achieve the highest price possible with the best conditions. But always approach the market with your buyers that these sellers do need to sell without even asking the listing agent.
So, in other words, bring them an offer, but don't
Bring
bring
an
them
offer.
But the problem is, let's say they're asking 1.5, you bring them an offer for $1 million. How realistic do you think? And you know, you've done your research, you know what that house, the bottom line is 1.4 for that house. Your chances
Sure.
of getting that offer is almost nil.
Here's a really great strategy that Wayne uses, which I really love. If there is a property that's been sitting around, and if you know, the agent will say, well, my client's only going to take a top dollar. We're actually looking for more than what the property is listed for, because there's
That's
a
why
lot
you're
of
sitting around.
there's a lot of that going on right now too.
That's why they're sitting.
But my husband, on a couple of occasions, has used this strategy where he will have the offer in his hand, but he'll also have his file beside him, and he will approach it with Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. Listing Agent. We're going to start with this offer right now. But if we can't make a go of this, I do have a second offer for the property listed around the corner. So, you know, my clients really love your home first, but they also really love the other property as well. So we do have a second offer. And so that gets the seller thinking, oh my gosh, we better work with this because we need to sell our home, right? So,
Loretta taught
right, yeah. Loretta taught that to Wayne. Loretta Finney, right, who is one of the #1 agents in
We love
for
Loretta.
Royal LePage. But having those little tips and tricks in your back pocket, sellers need to know that you're motivated. You're there and you're motivated and working on behalf of your buyers. So you're going to do everything and anything possible to ensure that you achieve success for those buyers. I'm strictly talking about buyers now. Listen, sellers have been winning forever over the last 10 years. Let's help buyers achieve the dream of home ownership. It is, I look at my daughter, for example. We couldn't get her a home in Oakville. Their starting price point is $1 million. She had to move 2 hours away from me just to,
They went to a great place though.
They went to a beautiful place, but, somewhere where they can afford a property. So my point is, if you can make it happen now, I would be getting on the phone with your database, with maybe people who have young children or adult children that are looking to get into the market, maybe people you've worked with in the past and are looking for some referral opportunities from past clients, their friends, their neighbors, their colleagues at work. Try and plant some seeds for the fall market, because that's what you're going to be doing right now, is you're planting the seeds for the fall market.
I'd even go one step that. I just did the video out there, and I said, school just got out today. And I said, last day of school gives you more time to get your house prepared. So now because you're going to take off, spend with kids.
Right.
So get the house ready and give us a call, right? Because now, listen, if they're going to change, if you got young kids, if you're going to go out of your school district, you got to be changing now, because they need to go sell it, close it, and re-register for the new school year back in September. So don't wait, do it now. My philosophy is everything now. Everybody can put everything on a back burner. I was going to do this today. When am I going to do this? Today. And then tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes, because it's always tomorrow. So remember, my favorite motto, do it now. So if you're not talking to them, someone else will be.
Procrastination is the thief of opportunity, in my opinion.
It's number one. Number one. Right? So one of the things I didn't get to talk about is you got lots of leads, and that's why I was telling you about some of the people that got leads from us and did some great sales, because they followed up with those leads and then closed them. But most of you call those leads one time and they just say, we're just looking.
Yeah.
What is 99% of people you never heard from going to say to you?
Yes.
What are they going to say?
They're
going to tell you, we're just looking, or we have an agent.
Yeah.
One of two things. And you know what I tell them? Pinocchio! You're full of shit. And I call them out on it.
There's a statistic that it takes 12 to 14 times.
Contacts.
Yeah, to touch points to communicate and engage with potential opportunities before you finally execute, I'm ready to sell, I'm ready to buy. So I'm not saying you have to call people 12, 13, 14 times.
Email, text.
You can email,
drop
text.
at their house.
Yeah, a little pop by. Like the Buffini training module is amazing.
It
right?
is one of the best.
A personal note. I was a big believer in personal notes, and it was always interesting because I always knew that people appreciated my personal notes. Well, I had 1,000 pennies. And remember when pennies became extinct? Well, I would put a lucky penny in every one of those personal notes, and just as a symbol of good luck for the next quarter. Wishing you great luck in life and in business. And people loved those so much that they would take photos of them.
And they would always remember.
And they would upload them to social media, which I thought was kind of fun. But it's a way to become memorable. And a lot of those lucky pennies, believe it or not, led to referrals. Right? People knew I took the time to handwrite a personal note, put a signature, and drop a penny. There's no investment except for time and thought. And sometimes time and thought, they build trust. So go buy yourself a pack of 10 personal notes every week at the dollar store and get those personal notes out to your local businesses, to past clients. I know sometimes if you're, I don't like cold calling. I haven't reached out to my database in so many years. Well, what a great time to reach out to your database now for the fall market. And if you haven't reached out, the best way to communicate is to be honest with the people on the other line. I am so sorry I haven't been in touch, but you came to mind today as I'm going through my database, and I wanted to reach out to see how you're doing. How's your mother? How's your father? You were telling me something about your son going to university at the time. Did he graduate? It's been 4 or 5 years.
I mean, he's a doctor now.
Yeah, he's a doctor now. He might need a new house. You never know where those thoughtful moments where an opportunity is going to come from. But the key is you must be genuinely interested in having these conversations. Listen, we've all become licensed to trade in this profession. It's up to us to make opportunities happen. We can't just wait by the telephone and wait for someone to call us and say, I'm looking. That is so not going to happen. You have to make yourself as memorable as possible. And a lot of those things don't cost any money, but they do cost time and thought. So see how that happens. My husband loves writing personal notes. And he may not get a sale, a listing, or a buyer, but he'll get a phone call. Wayne, I got your personal note. I just want to say thank you. Oh, well, actually, you did. You got Ali sent you a message. You're leasing his house, right?
Yeah.
Ali.
It's just another selling tool, just to
it's
stay connected.
Yeah, just to stay connected.
But
So,
a personal, so, listen, those that do personal notes, everybody sends emails.
emails are important too.
But wait, emails are not 100 of a personal note. The personal note will supersede 99% of all your other methods unless you go there face to face. The best way is face to face through an open house or a pop by. But failing that, your personal note sits right up here. So if you take the time, so we used to do 5, 10 personal notes every single day. And somehow we got away, but I need to get back into it.
Personal notes, yes, amazing.
And not emails, but personal notes. You'll see them in my office, all these
They're amazing.
personal notes from Mr. Brian Buffini, right? And I used to always write personal notes to 5 people I met that day. I made a goal, send out to 5 to 10 personal notes every single day.
Right.
So anyone you met, send them a personal note, right? Saying, so great to meet you. I can hardly wait till we get together again, right?
I love
Maybe your kids go to school, right? Who's got kids, right? Kids are the biggest conductors for business. The #1 conductor for business. So if you got kids, you need to go sponsor some luncheons for the kids and out into the zoo.
Well, not even sponsoring, even for myself, I built a very good community when my children were in elementary school. I was known as the pizza lunch mom and the chocolate milk mom. And everyone would recognize me that way because some of the moms would end up coming to the school as well. It was always a really great time just to be involved. Pardon?
Did you make the pizza?
No, I didn't. It was pizza lunch. Yeah, we work in the greatest profession. We're able to be with our kids in their school for special days. We're able to watch our kids play sports. My husband would not take an appointment if my son was playing football at university. He would choose to go watch him play football. Would he get business from that? No, that wasn't his interest, but business did come from it just by being present. Eventually real estate does come up. But what a profession that we work in, a professional designation, licensed to sell real estate in the communities that we're passionate about, the communities that we live in, and we still get to watch our children grow up and we can be with them throughout the day in their schools. It's amazing. We can come here and have conversations and have lunch with your agents like today. We have the greatest profession, but we also work in the hardest profession, unfortunately. When something is so fantastic, I'm genuinely excited to wake up every morning knowing that I'm in a career where I can work with agents that help buyers and sellers achieve the dream of home ownership. So how are you approaching your personal business? How are you approaching your day with those great habits, with consistent habits where maybe not today, but maybe in January or February of 2027, what's your name?
John.
John? John, listen, it was great seeing you 6-7 months ago. I'm not ready to move, but you know what? My dad's passed or my mom's passed and my mom is going to come and live with me. Can you come by and appraise her property? Those are the kind of conversations my husband's having now with his clients because we've been in the industry so long that the type of clients he's getting are different. It used to be first-time home buyers, right? Or move-up buyers. But now everybody's genuinely older, so we're working with older senior clients.
17.5% are over 60 in the Canadian population.
There you go. But you know what that means? It means we have to re-educate ourselves on how to work with different buyer types. Because it was really easy working with first-time home buyers, right? Because we were first-time home buyers. But now, my mom and dad, for example, they're moving into a condo. They're selling their home, but he's getting a ton of clients like that right now. They're not selling right away, but they're asking for appraisals. They're asking for advice. They're asking for that market evaluation, right? How are you equipping yourself with new knowledge all the time? You're certainly not going to get it on Instagram and Facebook, right? That's a totally different life over there. Don't believe everything that you see and hear online. I know the numbers. I study them all the time. I know who's selling, who's not selling. I know which brokerages are on top. You work for the #1 brokerage at RE/MAX Canada, RE/MAX Hallmark. They're the largest brokerage. Are you connecting with those agents across the GTA for potential referral business? Because Hallmark has locations in what,
20,
Ottawa, they've got
40 some ops, even in Naples, Florida.
Right, yeah. Like, how are you connecting with potential referral partners? You never know where your next opportunity is going to come from, is basically what I'm saying. That's how we started the conversation.
Of course.
Right?
So the key is, listen, for seniors, you have I call it 18% to make it even, that are 60 years of age. They have great wealth. They are going to downsize. So you need to educate yourself. Where would you put those people? Right? Because that's really the key. They have a house here in Richmond Hill. Do they want to go downtown to a condo downtown? No, their kids are up north, right? So most likely they want to move closer to the kids and their grandkids. So where can they go up north? Can they get a little bungalow, a little townhouse? Because there's not too many condos up north. You go to Pickering, you go to Mississauga, you go to Richmond Hill, there's lots of condos. But where do they want to go? Most adults, if they work downtown, they came from downtown, might be inclined to go downtown, but a lot of them have no desire to go downtown. You ever go there, it's so congested, traffic all the time and that? And now listen, they want to stay by their hospitals. They want to stay by their doctors.
Yes,
so they
that's
don't
very
want to
true.
move too far because they still want to go to the same hospital. They still want to go to the same doctor. Who wants to change their dentist or their doctor? I don't. Listen, my doctor I had before I retired, he was it. I've only had 2 doctors.
Yeah.
Well, 3. My mother had a doctor when I was younger, then when I got my own doctor. So I've only had 3 doctors. I've only had 2 dentists.
Right.
Right? I'm loyal to a cause. And if you treat your people like that, your people will treat you like that. But if you forget about them, you never call them, you never drop by, you never send them a note, right? They'll forget about you. Because listen, lots of my kids, like Sean Sigelstein, his parents were my clients. So now he got up and he's his own agent. So I can't take his business from his family.
How many of you know your target audience? Like,
Diane.
Who's your target market? How many of you work with first-time home buyers only? How many of you work with first-time home buyers? Okay. How many of you work with seniors? Huge market right now. Huge.
Seniors, yes.
Move-up buyers onto their next home.
Move-up buyers are your #1 best buyers, and then investors.
Investor clients, investors, condominium. Does anyone specialize in condominium segment? Luxury. Like there's so many segments of the market. I guarantee you, agents sell anything and everything because we're equipped to. We're members of multiple real estate boards and we're licensed that way. But if you narrow it down to a specific market segment and start communicating that value in an email campaign, if you have a designation, how many people have their buyer's designation, their ABR or their seller's designation, their marketing designation, their luxury designation, their seniors designation? I took my seniors designation with Barry Lebo years ago.
Little Barry.
Yeah, and it was a really great, designation to have. But the more you equip yourself with the knowledge and the experience and these designations that could potentially offer opportunities to potential clients, people are always going to ask you first for advice. But you can't get these designations and just leave it in your back pocket. You have to communicate that to clients, right? Whether it's in an email campaign, on your social media, in a personal note. By the way, I just want you to know I am now newly licensed to work with seniors. I have my seniors designation, right? It's new information that you give to people, and that's a touch point. That's a touch point. Another one could be, I'm just letting you know a property sold on your street just last week. for, you know, X amount of dollars or 95% of listing price. And I know you mentioned in the past that you are considering selling. Maybe it's time to have that market appraisal right now. And if it's not time to sell, let's at least get that appraisal in the books, right? It's all about communication. It's about building trust. It's about being the most knowledgeable and the most capable professional in the environments that you work in the communities that you work in.
That's why people come to me, because I have the knowledge. Listen, I've gone through 21% interest rates. I've gone through the highs and lows. So being able to navigate through a changing and challenging market is part of the things that you got to let them know what's going on. So, you know, just say, hey, we'll go sell your house. They're not interested. Like, no one wants to be listening to a hard scope salesperson. It's just like they'll just shut you down. They're there for your knowledge. They're there for you to give them something of value. What is the value that you can give me and my spouse here? We're looking for someone to help us. We've been in our house for 25 years. We want to downsize. We're not really sure where we're going to go. We don't know how much money we're going to have when we sell this. We're not going to know how much money we have when we're moving to a new place.
Yeah, but that's all a study that we have to put together for potential clients. We have to take that information and basically advise them with all the information that you've given me, you know, Mrs. Seller, you know, Mr. Buyer. I've created this itinerary of the steps we're going to take to help you maximize on your real estate investment. Because every property right now is a real estate investment. And there's an opportunity in everything. But if you're just going to go in and fake it, well, let me tell you something. You can't fake real estate. That's one thing you can't fake. It's controlled by data. Real estate is controlled by data. And it's controlled by the most knowledgeable and most engaged realtors. And even in a negative situation, like I'll give you a really funny story. Loretta Finney. I love her.
So Loretta Finney was one of the top agents in Canada.
Well, she still is.
Right?
She still is for Royal LePage. But her husband, the late Ron Finney, was one of my greatest mentors when I started. He was one of my greatest mentors.
He was a great dancer.
And his son and daughter and family are now taking over the business with Loretta. Yeah. Loretta's still quite active. But I remember my very first open house. I was so eager. I'm like, I need to do an open. How many of you love doing open houses? Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, they're the best.
If you can get out every single weekend, I would be doing an open house from 12 to 2 and 2 to 4 sometimes. Like, I just loved meeting people, and I also wanted to build my name in the communities. That's how you build community. And I remember my very first open house, they gave me my first opportunity. And Ron was so amazing. Virginia, I'm going to teach you how to do the most amazing open house ever. So you follow me. I'm going to put up the signs and I'm going to lead you to this house. This is the address. You can study it online. Here's the brochure. Always invested in beautiful, you know, color brochures. And I remember he was driving me in Lorne Park, and every stop sign he would get out, get the sign, and put it on the corner. So he did back then.
Ron did that.
Yeah, he put the signs out for me, and I just followed him. And I'm not sure if anybody is familiar with Lorne Park, but it's like Richmond Hill. It's high-profile luxury properties, and no one did it as well as the Finneys. They really are a spectacular. They are spectacular humans, and they built the community there. Okay, so. Finally, the last sign has to go up on the corner before we turn into the street. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing an open house on this street. It was like one of the most favorable streets in Lorne Park. And as we're driving in, I'm looking ahead of me, and it's a cul-de-sac. And I see a cemetery. And I'm like, oh, this, of course, my first open house is like, I bet you I'm siding onto a cemetery. Doesn't he drive right to the very end of the street?
Right back in the cemetery.
Which the house not only backs onto the cemetery, it sides onto the cemetery. And I am just so nervous. So he rolls down his window. He's like, go park in the driveway. I'm going to put your sign up here and I'm going to leave. So I get out of my car. Ron's in a happy mood, you know, really great. He was in a great mood, always so happy. He puts his sign up at the end, and I'm just standing there looking at the cemetery, and Ron comes up to me and he says, isn't this fantastic? I'm like,
It's quiet.
I said, Ron, this is amazing. He says, I know what you're thinking. I don't even want to go there, but I'm telling you, Virginia, everyone is dying to get into this neighborhood. And I just thought to myself, that's how I'm going to approach my business. Always in a great mood and always looking for the silver lining in everything we do. And would you believe that back then, that house, I believe, was listed for around $1.8 million, and it sold for $1.8 million. But today that house is probably worth about $10 million because of the market increases. So being as positive as Ron was, but also being the community builder, being the most knowledgeable, being the most experienced, being known in the community that they are there to achieve maximum price, maximum dollars, achieve the dream of home ownership, right? Those were the things that were important to him. And I always took that with me every day when I was starting to build my career, is having that positive outlook. You know, oh my God, next to a cemetery, oh, let me get you inside so that you can see what this spectacular home offers on the inside, right? Like,
But it's a quiet neighborhood. And that's how you have to put it. Guys, don't think it was a negative. Look at how quiet it is. There's going to be no noisy neighbors.
the best. One of our new progressive rev share models. We support every type of model that's in our industry. But I think what I really love about what we do at Buzz is that people genuinely get inspired and motivated to work at their highest level. Professional standards we're working at a bare minimum right now. And we really do need to get that minimum up. And that minimum comes from being educated and informed about current policies that are impacting our industry, whether they're government policies or policies from our local real estate associations or real estate boards, or policies that are coming from our corporate representations, right? And even like if you look at federal and provincial policies, there's a lot happening out there. Let's face the facts. Somebody screwed up over the last few years, and
Dramatically.
and we're not going to talk about it, but
No.
as real estate agents, we can't keep regurgitating that information online. We have to look for the opportunities so that we can make buyers and sellers and potential clients believe that there is a need for a professionally designated realtor to help them in their journey of home ownership. Because I don't want my kids using a robot in the future. That's what people are talking about right now with AI and all these new tech platforms. We just have to be better. You know, I was speaking with Justin Haver the other day from EXP in Calgary, and we were talking about bare minimum. We were talking about how do we become better in our craft. And he's someone just like you who is always looking at elevating his presence and his mind, you know, his mindset and the education and training of his team and staff, because they're number one at EXP Canada. You're number one for, you know, Remax Canada, Remax Hallmark Canada. You know, and we're all number one in our own moments. I always think I'm number one in the work I do. I truly believe that we bring value to our attendees, to our industry. But there's a lot of people that, you know, would say, no, you don't bring value. But that's okay. I'm not for everyone, just like you are not for all of your clients. The key is to go and find the people that want to be educated and inspired and have a great real estate experience with you. And that's what I do at Buzz with Bella. So we have the Buzz Digital Magazine, where we share stories of people like yourselves and your journeys in real estate. You know, you can look us up online. We also have Buzz Media Inc., which is our news channel where we share mergers, acquisitions, appointments. We just facilitated the top 100 most influential leaders in Canadian real estate at the executive and brokerage level. We also, as mentioned, we host the Buzz Conference, and then we host our regional summits in Calgary and Vancouver. You know, we're always looking for ways to share stories and information that will make realtors think, you know what am I doing? I woke up this morning, I scrolled 1 hour on Instagram, I went on Facebook, I checked a few DMs, I'm still in my pajamas at 12 o'clock. You know, like there's people that are doing nonsense right now. And this mobile phone can be a very powerful tool for us if in fact we use it properly. And I'm sure if you use ChatGPT and say, I'm addicted to my phone, I'm addicted to social media, how can I make this mobile device, how can I make this mobile device make me a more profitable real estate agent, a more successful, profitable real estate agent? And here's a really great example with Justin Bregman from Rare Real Estate. I'm not sure if anybody knows Justin Bregman. He's an amazing young man. He takes his phone, let's say today, he takes his phone and he goes to his database where his phone numbers are. He'll start at letter A and he'll just send a text until he gets to Z. Hi, how are you? It's Justin, it's Trust Just at Rare, just, texting you to say hello. Looking forward to catching up soon. Then he'll go to the next person, the next person, until he gets to letter Z. And then he'll start again in a month or so. Hey, it's me again. How about those J's, right? Hey, he'll just have conversations with people using texting. He is the #1 agent at Rare Real Estate. I think last year he did almost 400 transactions. And 80% of that probably comes from keeping in touch with people. This isn't rocket science. Our industry isn't rocket science. Stop looking for the next shiny object or the magic pill. People are our greatest resource. And the more people you put yourself in front of each and every day is an opportunity for you to build and develop strong relationships that will lead to opportunities. And that's it. There is no, people are, this technology, that technology, you have to invest, you have to sign up, give me your email. The only people getting rich on that technology, listen, I love tech, we promote tech, but there's certain tech that you should be using right now. And I shared 2 of them earlier today. 2 big platforms, and that's your MLS, your local MLS, and Realtor.ca. And then to become more efficient, of course, there's AI and ChatGPT and some really great platforms out there like BrokerBot. But there's some really, we could be clouded because it's the big conversation right now, and I think everybody's really confused. How many of you are confused with AI right now?
Who doesn't?
Yeah,
well, here's the biggest
problem. Hold on, here, let me ask this question. Has AI helped anybody sell a house here? No. Okay, thank you. And end of conversation. It's nice seeing you, Daryl.
Listen, the biggest failure with most salespeople, not just real estate, these outside companies, they haven't sold anything, and they're trying to be, and I remember one time, more than one time, but they were trying to sell something and they never sold anything on their life. So they're trying to tell you how to sell something, but they've never done it themselves.
I think for efficiency purposes, though, there's some really great tech out there, right?
There's no doubt.
One thing that I really hate is when you're scrolling Realtor.ca and descriptions aren't filled out. Well, if you're not sure how to write a description, just key in the features of the property and have ChatGPT spit out a beautiful description for you. It's professional. Stop taking photos with your mobile device, hire a professional photographer, put your room dimensions in, get your property taxes verified. Matt Day spoke at one of our events. Matt Day is the community manager at Realtor.ca. And having the best listings show up on your profile while your profile is also complete and verified is one of your biggest competitive advantages right now, because there are more people, agents on Realtor.ca that don't even have their profile pic or their addresses listed. So that's, you know, that's an area that you guys can all start in right now, is how are you showing up online? If you Google yourself, Google your name, how are you showing up online? And if you're not showing up impeccably, complete, current, the potential buyer or seller is going to move on to the next agent. You know, how do you professionally represent themselves? I know I'm really guilty of this because of COVID, but I love my Lululemon. I'm always in Lululemon, right? But there are days when you do have to get up and wear a suit and look professional.
Like today.
Yeah, I did it for you, Daryl.
That
Trust me. Wayne even said, you better be wearing a suit today. But you know, we have to do better. We have to look at our profession with a deeper sense of pride. And I guarantee we'll start making more opportunities happen for us.
pride, guys. How do you show up at their door? How do you show up on the phone? How do you have a conversation? How do you have a dialogue with them, right?
Yeah.
So all of this transpires, whether you're negotiating, whether you're just having a conversation. I talked to a guy the other day, and he started up because I had 12 of the best agents, and they're all bad. You know, he named some top of the top agents. And they said, did any of them show up? No, but their assistants showed up, right?
Okay.
And so he has a single car garage. I said, well, you have a single car garage. I see, that would be a detriment. He said, oh, I don't want to deal with you. That's not the way it is. I said, that's a reality. You can't mask a single car garage when you're trying to sell a house for $3.4 million. We're not for sale. You're out in another area where they have lots of garages, and that would be one of your detriments, that first people have cars. So if they got 3 or 4 cars, you got a single car garage, they're not going to be so interested, right? So he went in a rant and rave. So he hasn't called me back yet.
No.
But I'll be definitely to call him, and I will get his listing.
I wanted to ask you a question because you told me something really interesting earlier. Is your agents represent 32 nationalities?
Different nationalities.
Different nationalities and different languages, right? How many of you share that information on your profiles that you speak different languages? How many of you market online a listing description in your language? You know how far that will go? You know how many, that's just new opportunities for you. There's so many different nationalities here in Canada. Canada's made up of multiple fabrics right now.
In our marketing stuff, we have
Yeah.
the 32 different nationalities across like this.
I think it's really
Right.
huge. I think you should start promoting your agents and their languages and nationalities on your Instagram page. I think each one should have their photo introducing, what's your name? Uman. What languages do you speak?
Persian, Iranian.
Oh my gosh, like Steve Tabrizi. That you have to, like, you need to post about
Wait, ask
him.
how many Persians we have in here.
How many
if you're
Persians
Persian, you
in
put
here?
your hand
Put
up.
your hand up. Okay.
We have lots.
I love it. But you know, it's important for the communities to know that you and your office are the most well-represented global real estate team in Richmond Hill.
No.
But they will not know
in
if you don't.
Toronto.
Okay, but
In Ontario.
Okay, but they will not know if you don't share it, right? There's a saying: people can't be what they can't see. So the more you share that information,
Marketing team, are you guys listening to this?
Right.
Because I've said that to you guys hundreds of times.
right? I think you should create a campaign, the Daryl King Global Real Estate Campaign.
Oh, that's nice.
And introduce each one from 1 to number 55, 60, their name, a little bio,
We do have that.
their
We do have that.
languages, and if they are here from another country, if they've moved here like my father from another country, just share that in the bio, because there's other people moving here from other countries, and if they know that that person exists that is experiencing or has experienced the same real estate journey as them, they're going to want to connect with you. How did you do it? How did you build wealth? How did you own your first home? Who are the people I can work with? Who's a banker, an insurance agent, a doctor, a dentist? They're going to come to you for all of that information so that they can protect their life and their lifestyle here in Canada. It is a huge opportunity for you. That's how you will be #1 next year on the Toronto region.
Hey, marking you guys. We start on that, and again, they stop because we have a bio for every agent in this office.
Put it online.
We do
People
have it
know
online.
who you are.
No.
Stop putting yourself online.
No. Every agent has their bio on our website. Every agent.
Every agent.
Every agent.
Put it online.
They're on our
Yes,
websites.
good.
They are.
Yeah, no, on social media. I'm asking you to do a campaign. Don't you think that'd be fun?
I love it.
Yes.
Right?
And don't worry that they'll get the sales and the client calls.
I want them to get
Yes,
it.
I know you do.
Right? Just make sure you follow up.
I'm teasing.
Follow up.
There is nobody like Daryl out in Canada, honestly. There is nobody like him. He is so passionate about what he does. He's also passionate about your success. We talk about this all the time. Every time I see him, and every time I ask him, Daryl, how many agents today, right? Well, it depends what day it is, right? Like
Iron.
Yes.
Right?
People that are here now, if you can commit to the next 2 quarters and follow a set of systems and habits, but also doing this campaign, I guarantee you, your team is going to finish the strongest out of all the teams at the end of the year. I guarantee it.
Who's in?
I think
Now you know why I want to have her as a manager. 'Cause she's passionate, she's deliberate, and she's methodical, and she takes action, right? And that's what all of us have to do. We have to be methodical. We have to, but some people are too analytical, and they're trying to get ready, and trying to get ready, and trying to get ready. My God, I hired somebody that I used to work with, the mom, the son and his girlfriend. They were so, I loved them. They were the nicest people in the world. They were like you, John, so nice. And I love John. John's been with me forever. I would never get rid of John. He'll be here. I go, he'll go. But we'll go together, right? So the beautiful part is, that's how he was. But that's all they did, is just paperwork and this, that. They would never go into action. Never. I said, guys, you've done all the planning, you've done all this. Now you got to go to action. Action, guess what? I would sooner be bad at what I did, but did it bad, than not to do it. My bad is better than any of your best. And that's what you got to remember. So when I tell you guys to do videos, I don't care how bad it is. One bad video is better than any non-video, right? One cold call is better than no cold call. One door is better than no door. One open house is better than no open house, right? So you have to do everything all the time. And it's not one thing, it's many things.
Yeah, you know, we're in a profession where we always have to be turned on. Not sexually, but
That helps.
like turned on meaning we can never turn off our business. We can't. We can't turn off our business. So and that's why it's so important for us to constantly self-educate, self-inspire, self-motivate. You know, let's face the facts. There's a lot of depressed people in our industry right now.
A lot of industries. Not just real
yes,
estate.
you're absolutely right.
Guys, the thing that I hate to be is square pegged. It's all industries right now. The world is going through a lot of BS. And is it necessary? Probably not, but they're putting us through anyway. But the strong are going to get stronger, and the weak are just going to fade away. So if you want to be the strong, you need to do things every single day. I'm like, listen, I called a couple people up this week. Oh, I'm going for a jog, then I'm going to go play badminton, and then someone else, so I got to do it. So many of them had excuses, and not one had a reason to come with me, because I want to take them door knocking, but I had more excuses from my own team. I'm going, guys, this is crazy. How can you ever do business? We're going to take the whole week off. We're going to start on Monday. This is on Monday or Tuesday.
I'll tell you what the years did when Wayne and I were door knocking and delivering flyers. And sometimes we weren't really door knocking. We were just dropping off flyers.
But that's all you got to do.
Pop-bys, right?
That's all.
The interesting thing is, you know, just like somebody like Ronaldo said on the video you posted earlier, oh, I don't want to go to the gym every day, but I have to go to the gym every day. It's part of my job, right? He's a professional athlete.
He's one of the best. He's a
best
legend.
in the world. Best in the world. Earlier on in our career is when we really did all the work. We worked so hard. Sometimes we chose work over family until we made a decision, and we had 3 young kids, all under the age of 5.
Beautiful kids, by the way.
So, you know, and none of them wanted to be a real estate agent because they knew how hard they had to work to be. It's a true story. It's a true story. But the beauty of working hard now and doing the door knocking, doing the cold calling,
The open houses.
the open
Tell them how much you love the open houses.
Hold on. I love open houses are my favorite. Open houses, attending events, networking, building our referral network. When you do that in the first year of your business, it kind of sets the foundational principles of where you want to go. And instead of always searching for your next client or your next opportunity, you ended up planting those seeds for the business now to come looking for you. We don't. Do you door knock now? No, you don't. Do you?
I'm going to take him out.
But he cold calls every single day. Every single day he's on that telephone. And you know, in 2024, I'm just going to share a story. I'll share a story about my husband now. In 2024, he had a very terrible year in real estate. One of his worst years. He still made an award level, but it was a terrible year. And I still love you. I'm still with you. We've not only been married for 35 years, but we've been in business for 35 years, both selling real estate, right? 3 kids in university, done. This is the power of really loving your job and working extra hard to make sure you can give your families the things that they want, they deserve, the things that we believe will make a difference in their lives. But I remember.
What do you remember?
Hold on. I remember one day Wayne said to me, I don't believe that this business is for us anymore. It's too hard.
What?
No, hold on. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to share the story. And what happened? No, and what happened was we made a decision that he was going to take control of the business under Wayne Munden, and that's when I decided I was going to do Buzz. All right. But every day since 2024, he made the decision to move over to his new brokerage that he's with now, which is Remax Hallmark. And every day for 365 days, all he did was make phone calls. You did. You phone called. You were cold calling every single day. And in 2025, you had the best year of your life from cold calling. And guess what the beauty of being with his brokerage that he's with now, which he really loves, which is Remax Hallmark, is that many of those transactions were referrals from his colleagues in the Remax Hallmark network, because he took the time to phone people and reconnect with them when he came back to the brand. The whole point is there's times where you want to give up. Unless you know it's time to make a change, or it's time to shift your mindset, or it's time to look at a different opportunity, right? You have everything you've built here with Daryl. There's no need to go anywhere. But there is a need to work harder, to work smarter, to work better, and to focus on building those foundational principles for your business. But you did. How many referrals have you had since you've been back here?
A dozen, probably.
A dozen.
Six lots.
But without hard work, it would have not happened. Picking up the phone every single day is what made the difference.
Guys, complacency for some of you old timers, and for you new timers, you have no good work habits. You have fucking shitty work habits. I'm gonna get up at 10 or 11 o'clock, and I might go onto my computer. Oh, I gotta take a lunch now. Okay, I'll come to the office for an hour maybe, or I'll maybe call somebody. Okay, it's time to go home, and that's my day. And they wonder why nothing gets done. Every opportunity, doesn't matter what language it is, everybody's the same. We're all the same. We're all people. We all love, we all hate, we all do bad, we all do good. But it's being able to create an impact for somebody and help someone, going that extra mile.
Sometimes the investment that you make now, whether it's work, time, financial, if you stay consistent with it over the next 90 days, a 90-day challenge, or I'm going to say the last 2 quarters. So you've got 6 months. You've got
Just
6
go
months
full
to
out.
really make a difference. I would be doubling down on everything that has worked so far this year or last year, and whatever hasn't worked, I would just delete it and eliminate it from your daily schedule, and replace it with a podcast. Whatever inspires you in the morning, don't take away your daily habits that you begin with, but make sure that they're strategic. Make sure they're good for you, your mind, your soul, your body. Don't wake up and go straight to your phone and start scrolling, and then start your day with strategy. If you don't have a strategy, it is a very difficult business to stay focused on right now, right? And if you're licensed to trade and sell real estate, there's no need to, I'm gonna start a podcast. I'm gonna start a technology platform. I'm gonna become a real estate coach. Like, everybody's trying to do a side hustle right now when they could be focused on the consumer experience. And that's where we need to get the focus back to, is, I keep saying it, helping buyers and sellers achieve the dream of home ownership. What a privilege you all have, right?
And don't forget the investors, guys.
Yeah, the investors.
I'll tell you,
too.
right now, for investors, I don't think there's a better time for an investor to start buying stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the time to buy an investment when it's at a high makes no sense.
Well, I would be visiting builders' offices and asking what the perks are. In Oakville in 2017, 2018, there were condos north of Dundas, 1 bedroom, 1 den, selling for $750. In 2025, in March, a good 20 of those condos did not sell. The property values came back 200 to 300,000 below their original values, and a lot of people walked away. So there were some assignments that were available. Those properties sold this past year for $340. That's
In Oakville.
That's a reality. That's a reality. But you will never know unless you make those calls, unless you visit. Imagine getting that information and calling up your database, or sending out, an email to your past investors or potential buyers that are sitting on the fence. People want to know where the opportunities right now, and I guarantee if you share those opportunities, they are going to think and consider jumping on them. It's a true story.
Well, I know it's happened all the time.
Yeah.
I work with most of the builders, and like, I just talked to one of the ones that's got a new one up here in Richmond Hill. He has something to do with the site, unfortunately, but he knows us. He's got 19 units, and they're 2,000 square feet, and they're done. They're luxury townhouses. So I will get the information, and he will pay us 3%.
Yeah, that's,
Right.
Oh my God, imagine 3%. Oh, so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first, I know you said you started out door knocking.
Yes.
400 has, on Mondays?
Mondays, every
And did you
Monday.
do Monday morning, Monday afternoon?
10 o'clock Monday morning.
And how long did you do that?
2 hours.
Okay.
2 hours every Monday.
And did you have a different flyer every week? or-
Sometimes,
okay.
yep, sometimes we did. At the time when we started, we didn't have any listings in the complex, so we were sharing information that there were some sales in the complex, and if they did want information, to connect with us, and we would be happy to sit with them in their home and do an appraisal using those comparables.
Okay, so that was typically, you would just give data on
Yeah,
these things and
yes,
stuff, and
yes.
then-
And sometimes it would be like, a happy summer, here's some great things going on. We would find out from, the local parks and recreations if there were any happenings in the neighborhood. So we would do kind of like a little flyer of
Community
that
thing.
information.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Listen, I get probably 300 personal emails plus the business. I'm getting about 600 emails a day. But if someone sends you a personal note or a personal something, it touches your heart.
Yeah.
Right?
Another thing you can do too is if you're like, I'm on social media, so if I meet somebody and I have a first connection online, I'll ask them, are you on social? Can we follow each other? And then you can use the DM as a vehicle to get the email, to get the address, to ask for permission. Can we stay in touch? I really loved our conversation, right? I'm attending a women's event in the next 3 weeks. Would you like to come with us? There's a few of us women coming. You know, it would be really nice for us to get together. Women's events are a really big thing right now. Women's gatherings.
Yeah, they count me out.
Women's empowerment. I mean, Diane, you came to our women's empowerment a couple of weeks ago.
I try to go to all your.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, you're all invited. We had a beautiful event, Queen Bee, at the Eden Bridge by Tridel in Etobicoke. And we had 100 women that were registered, and we had a beautiful lunch. We had keynote speaker Natasha Kaufman, but everyone was there. Vivian Reese was there. Michelle Reese was there. We had the vice president of Royal LePage Canada, Kelly McCain, was there. Like, just a way to get women out, but also bring a friend or two if people want to join in. And then all of a sudden, that woman feels empowered by you. Wow, the power of inclusivity, the power of inclusion. I really like Farah. I want to get to know her more. And then all of a sudden, next year, you've got a referral sitting in your lap. You just don't know where that connection is going to come from. And you seem to be so vibrant. Like, I'm already attracted to your vibrancy, right? So that's not easy. That's not easy. But how do you take that connectivity to the next level, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So many things, little things you can do. It's all the little things you do that create the big things. You can't just do a big splash. You can do that every now and again, but it's all the little things you can do every single day that is going to get you to where the end result you want to get to. And as long as you're looking after somebody else, you'll get looked after in the end. And that's what you have to think of. Don't think you're looking for a paycheck, because that's what most realtors or most salespeople look at. That they look at, a payday, but they don't look at being able to get them from A to Z or Z to A, wherever direction they're going to go. And it's helping them and educating them along that journey, and that they can appreciate it. That's when you get your client testimonials in that, because they're happy with the service that you provided, right?
Client testimonials is another thing. That's another thing. How many of you asked for client testimonials for your Google?
Everyone.
I'm telling you, people are looking at that as a source of confirmation that, yes, this is the person I want to work with, right?
I do have a question. I can.
Hi, what's your name?
Shavana.
Hi, Shavana.
Nice to meet you. We were talking about AI earlier and technology, and you mentioned the two platforms you would use.
Those are the only.
However, a question about AI,
Yeah.
and you know, what if you had to start over today? What would you, in the next 90 days, automate with AI, and what would you not? What would you actually stay away from? So I heard like follow up, and that seems
Yeah,
very
you know, there's a lot of. I can send you the top 10 AI platforms that help you automate to provide efficiencies for your business.
Right.
But because I'm so old school, 35 years in the business, I try to replace AI with live circumstances. The only time my husband will use AI is if he's rewriting a listing description. When he visits the home, for example, and this is, he has, he'll have a list of everything about the house. And what he'll do is he'll key in that list into ChatGPT. You got a prompt.
Yeah.
Please rewrite a beautiful listing description for this address located in this city, in this location, close to parks, schools, et cetera, et cetera. And do it in less than 1,000 words or 350 words.
Right.
That's probably the extent of AI, but I do believe that efficiencies are just starting now to become perfected using specific platforms. But don't get caught up spending all your time on these platforms, because when you're doing that, you're leaving your clients and potential opportunities in your communities to be served by different agents. I think that's the key.
I believe in all technology, but I challenge all my technology friends. Let's have a little one-on-one, and I'll kick their ass. Right? So here's the difference. Talk is cheap, but action is more important. So I'd sooner take action and take less talk and make the action happen. So I want to thank Virginia again personally.
Thank you.
And I want to thank each and every one of you that are here live for staying here so long, because this is the longest all of you guys stayed. And for anyone that's on air, I want to thank you because your time is most valuable. So this is Daryl King signing off, sharing the mindset. Till next time, be safe. Go have a happy Canada Day, and let's go have some fun, and let's go Canada! Woo!